Good day and welcome to Predators Proclivity, where we look at data from the season for the NHL Nashville Predators and make comments upon it. I am your host, Preston Proctor. First things first. I did reach out to Quantum Energy Squares and I asked about their website that said that the variety pack, you could try all 6 flavors. And they said that they did temporarily only include 5 of the 6 flavors due to the caramel almond sea salt being low in stock. They said they put a disclaimer on Amazon, which is not what I was looking at. I was looking at their website. But they say the good news is the Variety 12-pack is back to including all 6 flavors, including that caramel almond sea salt. So there you go. 100 milligrams of caffeine, 10 grams of protein, 0 junk. QuantumSquares.com. The promo code PredsPro gets you 25% off every day of the year. Like I said, the chocolate chip cookie dough is the favorite here, both Prudence and myself. And maybe I should send a pack of these to Premium and get him back in. I gotta figure out. He really wants to be on the show. I have to figure out how to get my phone patch working. I got it all set up. And back when we were living in Washington State, I had it, I'm pretty sure it worked because I got it and got everything set up. And then when we moved here, I just set it up. I didn't try it. I assumed it would work. My keyboard doesn't talk to my computer anymore. That used to work, but it doesn't work anymore. Which is annoying, but I think that's the going to Windows 11 is what messed that up. Things are no longer compatible, and my Casio is pretty old. I got that when I was living in the D.C. area back in 1987. Wow! So it's my digital keyboard is about 40 years old. Still works great. Not a promo for that, but just saying, I'm going to try to get, during the pause, maybe I can get Premium on the show. He can call in, we can talk hockey and see where that goes. Like I said, Quantum Energy Squares, if you go to quantumsquares.com, they have 3 different Variety 12-packs. You can get the 12-pack that includes all 6 flavors now. You'll get 2 of each. Or you can get the chocolate fix that includes 3 of them. They also have the sweet and salty Variety 12-pack. So there you go. Preds Pro gets you 25% off at quantumsquares.com. Nothing new on the Cozy Earth part of things. I hear everybody else's promo and they talk about, oh, they're great. They're my favorite pajamas. They're my favorite this. They're my favorite that. Haven't quite been able to pull the trigger on any of that myself. I got my Tommy Johns. I got my ultra soft jockeys. I'm doing pretty good on the comfort side of things, but not a promo for them either. But Cozy Earth, Preds Pro, 21% off till the end of February. Some people still have a 41% off. They do have 50% off or $50 off a $100 purchase on their website. In March, they are going to be reducing their prices. Anyway, so cozyearth.com, Preds Pro, 21% off. And there you go. We got all the promos done. So let's take a quick break and then we'll talk hockey. Right. And so on the hockey front, there was this trade between Dallas and Calgary. They swapped defensemen. I didn't look at it. I don't, whatever. It is what it is. Oh, yeah. And as far as all of that goes, today, the 4th at 3 o'clock Eastern is the end of trading until after the pause. So however you want to say that. Until midnight, February 22nd. So 3 o'clock Eastern today is when trades are paused until, February 23rd. So the season is going to be paused from February 6th to the 24th. But we're still playing hockey. We got 2 more games today for the Nashville Predators. Tonight, the Minnesota Wild are here at Bridgestone Arena to take on the Nashville Predators. The Minnesota Wild, they are second in the Central Division with 76 points, 33-14 and 10. On the road, good road team, 16-8 and 3. They are 5 points behind Colorado, who's played 3 less games. They are 1 point ahead of Dallas, who's played 1 less game. So that second position in the Central Division is still up for grabs between Dallas and Minnesota. Minnesota had been in sole possession of second place in the Hockey League, but they are now in a 3-way tie with Tampa Bay and Carolina. And they lose the tiebreaker with both of those teams because the other teams have played less games. Tampa Bay's played 54, Carolina 56, the Wild 57. And then, of course, Dallas is 1 point back, and they've played 56 games. So the second spot in the NHL is also a big fight. Colorado 5-point advantage over Tampa Bay. So it's definitely their advantage over the other teams is definitely coming down. They were a shoe-in for the President's Cup earlier, but, they're 3-5-2. Wow. 3-5-2 in their last 10. Don't know. I mean, I did hear some talking about them resting players and such like that, and maybe going into the Olympic break. I don't know. I haven't really paid that much attention to Colorado. They are still tops in the league, tops in the Central, so they shouldn't have a problem with the playoff spot. Assuming they can turn it back on. I mean, that's the whole problem, right? If that is what they are doing, and they get into the habit of resting players and playing different lineups, then, can they turn it back on and still retain their spot? I guess every team probably wants to win the President's Cup. You want to have a good enough season. I think they want to be in the playoffs. That's the start. You would prefer to have home ice advantage, so that means you've got to be in the top 2 in your division. And then winning your conference, I guess, would be the next thing. And then if you won your conference, then, why not win the President's Cup? But there you go. Anyway, for the Minnesota Wild, this is a 1-game road trip, and then they're done. They're done until after the pause. So 1-game road trip for them. Between the series, it is the third of 4 versus Nashville. It's the first one in Nashville, so yes, the other 2 games were in Minnesota. And the teams are 1-1. November 4th in Minnesota. Minnesota won 3-2 in overtime. In Minnesota, December 23rd, Nashville won 3-2 in overtime. So both games decided 3-2 in overtime. And we'll see how tonight's game goes. And then they will meet again on April 11th. Last year, they only met 3 times, and the home team won all 3. They played 2 in Minnesota, so Minnesota was 2-1. versus the Preds last year. They do have 4 players on their injured list. 3 of them are scheduled to be back today. We'll see how that goes. They're all day-to-day and got listed either on the 2nd or 3rd. So I think if I read this illness, so I don't know if there's some food poisoning or something going around their team. I don't. Do they problems with food poisoning? Tends to be a cycling thing. They travel. They're from day to day. They're in different places. So I don't know if food poisoning is something that occurs in the NHL that often. But obviously, if somebody comes down with something, it could be very easy for somebody else to pick it up. But anyway, so the players that are on the list are number 17, left wing Marcus Foligno. Day-to-day, expected back today. Number 48, defenseman Damon Hunt. That was a lot easier to pronounce. Day-to-day, expected back today. Number 30, goaltender Jesper Wallstedt. Day-to-day, expected back today. And then number 25, defenseman Jonas Brodin. Week to week, not expected back until March 3rd. And bringing this up, the lineup. So goaltenders are unconfirmed. So I don't, if they, they've got Pettersson. And Pettersson is the backup. So it doesn't look like Puckpedia is expecting Wallstedt to be back. As far as other transactions go, on the 2nd, they did activate number 24 defenseman Zach Bogosian. And then also on the 2nd, they recalled number 40 goaltender Cal Peterson from the Iowa Wild. Cal Peterson, one of the goaltenders we keep our eyes on here in the house. He is a Notre Dame alum. I think he graduated. I played for Notre Dame anyway, at least 3 years, I think. They went to the Frozen Four. Was drafted, I forget who got drafted by, but he was playing for the Kings for a couple of years, and now he is with Minnesota's AHL team, the Wild. All right, Cal Peterson. So there you go. That is the Minnesota Wild. For your Nashville Predators, they are 5th in the Central with 58 points, 26, 23, and 6. At home, they are 15, 12, and 2. They are 4 points behind Utah. They played 1 less game than Utah, and they have a 3-game regulation win disadvantage for Utah. So everything going Utah's way right now as far as that matchup goes. They are 5 points ahead of Chicago. The Preds have played 1 less game than Chicago, and they have a 2-game regulation win advantage over them. That's true. It was Winnipeg, but I guess now it's Chicago and Winnipeg. They're swapping spots. There's a little bit of swapping spots going on. When it comes to the wild card spot, Anaheim is now back in a Pacific divisional spot, which means Seattle is dropped into the wild card. Utah has regained their top spot in the wild card race. So, so Utah is the wild card 1 spot right now. We went through the differential between the Preds and them a second ago. In the second wild card spot, Seattle, of all the teams that are fighting for that one of the wild card spots, not counting Utah, but as far as Seattle, Anaheim, LA, and San Jose goes, Seattle is the only team that the Preds do not have the regulation win advantage on, but they are back in the second spot. Regulation win's not coming into effect yet because Seattle does have 3 more points than the Preds. They played the same number of games, and Seattle has a 1-win regulation win advantage over the Preds. To get to Seattle, though, the Preds would have to go over L.A. and San Jose, not in that order. First San Jose, then L.A. San Jose and Nashville are tied at 58 points. San Jose has played one less game. The Preds do have a 3-point regulation win advantage, so had they played the same number of games, Nashville would be listed above them. The Kings are 2 points ahead of both of those teams. They've played one less game than the Preds, and the Preds have a 5-game regulation win advantage over the Kings. So they pulled even with San Jose, 2 points behind the Kings. Hey, we got a back-to-back situation. Tonight, Minnesota, then tomorrow night we travel to Washington. So, I don't know. That's 4 points. That could be 62. We could go into the pause in the second wild card spot. That would be something. That would be something. I hadn't really thought about that. Anyway, for the Preds, this is the second of a 2-game homestand. They're 1-0 in that homestand, having had the big comeback win against St. Louis on Monday, 6-5. And so tonight's game is the front end of a back-to-back. And then tomorrow they travel to our nation's capital and play the Capitals in our nation's capital. And then the pause. Minnesota did not play last night. Washington did play last night, so neither Washington nor Minnesota are in a back-to-back situation, the same as Nashville. We'll get to that when we discuss the momentum, but that's where they are at. As far as player updates, Nicholas Hague, number 42 defenseman, is still week to week, expected back after the pause, so the 26th of February. On the 2nd, the Preds did activate number 37, defenseman Nick Blankenberg. He was in the game the other night. And then yesterday, they loaned number 8 defenseman Andres England to Milwaukee. Yeah, he's on loan. I hope he's earning interest. I don't know. But there you go. And that is your players. And so we move on to stats. I guess early programming note. I have to go. I'm volunteering to be at my wife's high school tomorrow. They have parent-teacher conferences tonight, and if the parents don't come tonight, then they have student-led meetings tomorrow where they're supposed to discuss their progress, what they're doing, where they want to go, what their plans are, that sort of thing. And they need people to come in to talk to the students about that if they don't make the parent-teacher conferences tonight. I did it last year. A lot of fun. And I'm doing that again tomorrow, so I won't have time to get a podcast out tomorrow for tomorrow's game, so I'm doing that later today. And so trying to save my voice a little bit, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, funny. There's this one kid, what a go-getter. I was really impressed with him. He was a sophomore last year. This year he's in my wife's Integrated Math 3 class. And it's kind of fun. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. Anyway, so stats, right. And so tonight the Preds are at home. So let's talk about the first goal. They did not get the first goal against St. Louis the other night, but they did win. But hey, if they do get the first goal, they are currently 7-3-1. If they get the first goal in the first period, they're 5-3-1. So that's pretty much a coin flip. Getting the first goal in the second period, undefeated, 2-0. If they do not get the first goal, 8-9-1. So that's not so bad. If they don't get it and it's in the first period, 6-8-1. If they don't get it and it's in the second period, they're 2-1-0. So the only thing I see right there is that is a little bit of an advantage for the Preds if they get the first goal, and that's about it. The first goal not really looking that significant this year. I guess backing up just a little bit, the reason why I look at this, there are two things that caused me to start doing all this data analysis 2 years ago now, was the announcers going, oh, the first goal is so important. And I'm like, well, that's bunk. And so turns out I was wrong. At least 2 years ago, it was extremely significant. The Preds had a 3-1 advantage if they got the first goal, and it was a 2-1 for the opponents if the other team did. So there was definitely, maybe it wasn't, I mean, I never played hockey. I played a little bit of soccer, but not competitive. I coached soccer, but in soccer, another one of those low scoring affairs. And so, the first goal in those types of sports does make a difference. I don't think it's as big of a deal now as it used to be in hockey because there is a lot more scoring than there used to be. However, I think it's just mentally, it's still, whether you have the advantage or don't have the advantage, at least at some point in the game, it causes the team to have to start to push, probably the third period, maybe not so much in the second. But anyway, so that was one of the other was I thought the Preds sucked in the second period at home, and I was right about that. But yeah, so those were the two things that caused me to start doing the data analysis. And then after I had all this data, I'm like, well, I've done all this data. What am I going to do now? And so I decided to start this podcast. And here we are, 2 years. Almost 2 years. Yeah, February 27th was our first podcast, and we did 32 episodes that season, 67 last, and we're on our 45th this one. So maybe it was a bad decision on my part, but at least I did the analysis, and then I took all that effort and said, well, I've been complaining about bias in the trophies, and I did my NHL awards analysis, did that 2 years ago during the summer, and was right about a lot. Not everything, but was right about a lot. But anyway, so that's the first goal. That's why we talk about first goals here. Just because. But we move on from first goals to the Preds' record in the periods. And the record in the periods, again, still not so good. Wasn't made any better the other night. Weird thing the other night. Something that tends not to happen is to lose 2 periods and win the game. And they exactly did that the other night, but they didn't take 2 periods to do it. So that is an anomaly that I have not seen. Didn't see last year. We didn't see it the year before that. We did. If you won 2 periods and lost 2, then you could win or lose. But generally, winning 2 or losing 2 seals your fate. Anyway, the Preds not doing that well. In the first period, they are 6-9-14. 6-9-14 in the first period. If they get the first goal, they have not lost the first period. They're 6-0-5, and if they do not get it, they've never won the first period. They're 0-9-9 now. And that's in the first period. In the second period, they are 7-10-12. So again, another losing record, heavily biased towards ties, but losing is catching up. If they got the first goal, they are 3-4-4 in the second period. If they don't get it, 4-6-8. So still not that great. The third period looks even worse overall. They're 9-13-7. So they have a winning record. They're 15-12-2. So, I mean, even taking the overtime, the extra time losses, well, I guess they're overtime losses, and putting them into the loss column, they have more wins than losses, but they have not been able to get a winning record in any period. On the road they do, but not at home. Not at home. And so moving on, if they had gotten the first goal in the third period, they are 4-4-3. So, about 500 in the second and third period had they gotten it, and then, they 6-0-5 in the first. And then if they did not get the first goal in the game, they're 5-9-4 in the third period. So not a very good record, more likely to lose or as likely to lose as to tie or win, and then tie win, kind of a coin flip there. So there you go. Interesting. The 3 times they've gone to a shootout, they did not get the first goal in any of those 3 games, and they are 1-1 in overtime, both getting it and not getting it. But the shootout games were all they did not get the first goal, so that's somewhat interesting. That being all said, correlating that to winning the game. Of course, they lost the first, lost the second the other night, won the game. So let's take a look at those stats. 6 times they've won the first period, and they're .500 in those games, 3-3. 9 times they have lost the first period, and they're 3-6 in those circumstances. And then tying the first period, they're 9-5. That's obviously the best record there. In the second period, 7 times they've won the second period. That's translated to a win 4 times. They're 4-3 in those games where they won the second period. When they've lost the second period 10 times, they're 2-8 in those. And then in the times that they have tied, 9-3. It's so weird to have to pull to tie the first and tie the second. And it's so bizarre. Anyway, the third period, 9 times they've won the third period. They're 8-1 in those games. 11 times they have lost the third period. They're 1-12 when they lose the third period. Tying the third period, they're 6-1. Of course, you can't pull to tie all 3 periods because that just goes to overtime. And if we take out the empty nets, 9 times still the Preds have won the third period, but they're 7-2 now. And then 10 times they've lost the third period, 2-8, and tied the third period 10 times. They're 6-4. Interesting, 9, 10, and 10 if you take out empty net goals in the third period. So there you go. That is the correlations to that. Combinatorics. I guess we should talk about combinatorics. Yeah, usually talking about combinatorics at this time. Right. So the thing that has happened the most, the Preds have they have played 29 games now at home. 7 times is the most that any scenario has happened, and that is to tie the first and tie the second, and they are undefeated. 7 times that's happened. They are 7-0-0. In those circumstances, interesting, tying the second, tying the third, that's happened 4 times, and they're 4-0-0. Tie the second, win the third, also 4 times, 4-0-0. Yeah, the only problem with tying the second is if they lose the third, they're 1-3 in those circumstances. So tying the second period in general looks pretty good. Back again to the first and second periods, things that have happened, not as much but more than others. Tying the first and losing the second. So tying the first, tying the second is a good thing. Tying the first, losing the second, not so good. 4 times, 1, 2, and 1. And then the odd thing with tying the first, winning the second is not that great of a record. I mean, 3 times they're 1-1-1. They've got a better record tying the first and tying the second than tying the first and winning the second. Go figure. If they do win the second and they've won the first, that's happened twice and they're 2-0. If they've won the second and lost the first, that's also happened twice and they're 1-1. So winning the second, not so. That's so weird. If they win the second, they lost the first, they're 1-1. Win the second, tie the first, 1-1-1. That is just so bizarre. Winning the first, losing the second, they're 0-3. The 3 times that's happened. 3 times also happened to lose the first and lose the second. And of course, now we know that they've got that one win, even though they lost 2 periods, they're 1-2 now. in that scenario. Losing the first, tying the second 4 times, 1, 3, and 0. Winning the first, tying the second, they were 1 and 0. So tying the second, gee whiz, has a better outcome than winning the second. I guess. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it's winning the first and winning the second is just as good as tying the first and tying the second. Go figure. Go figure. Losing the third period is another really bad scenario. Even if they won the second, that's happened twice. They have not won a game in that. If they've lost the second, they're 0-7. If they tied the second, 1-3. So losing the third period, not a good scenario. Out of the 9 scenarios between the second and third period, losing the second, tying the third has not happened. That is the only scenario of the 9 that has not happened. And all scenarios between the first and second period have now happened. So, yes, that's the only 0 left. Actually, the other interesting thing between the second and the third is that none of the 9 scenarios have only happened once. You've got 2 and 2 and 3. Win the second, 2, 2 and 3. Losing the second, 3, 7 and 0. And then tying the second, 4, 4 and 4. Wow. Yeah. Tying the second, 4, 4 and 4. Tying the second has a good outcome with the third period. It's got a good outcome with tying the first period. Not so good with anything else. Yeah, so tying the second period leads to happiness. Especially if they tied the first. That's just bizarre. It's in my opinion, that's just bizarre. But anyway, so that's the correlations in combinatorics, which takes us to goal scoring. And with goal scoring, the first thing we do talk about is the winning goal. The winning goal did, of course, get scored in the third period the other night. That is the highest number, 11. Out of the 29 games, 11 times the winning goal has been scored in the third period. That's 38%. Next up is the second period with 8. Then overtime with 4, and the first and shootout tied with 3. Preds winning. The highest number is also third period. Preds winning at home 7 times, 47% in the third period. The next highest is the shootout with 3. Overtime twice, second period twice, first period once. So, yeah, definitely strongly in the third period for the Preds winning. For the opposition, the second period is when they're scoring their winning goal 6 times, 43%. Next up is the third period with 4, and then twice in the first and twice in overtime. Looking at the home team, road team stuff, the home team has won 30 times with the Preds season, 10 times in the third period, so 33%. Second period is second. Second period is second with 7. Then overtime with 6. First period gets 4, and then the shootout 3. The road team has won 25 of the games, 10 as well in the third period, but that's 40%. 40% in the third period, followed closely by the second period with 8. Overtime has 4, and the first period 1. So let's look at the scores. The scores overall. So the Preds, the game the other night. The game the other night. So what was it? Preds got 1, St. Louis got 2. So it was a 1-goal differential in both periods. Preds got 2, St. Louis got 3 in the second, and then the Preds got 3-0 in the third. So here at home, the Preds are being outscored by 5 now in the first period, 22-27. Even when the Preds win, it's getting close, 13-11. They're outscoring their opponents by 2 in games that they win at home. They're being outscored by 7, 9-16, in the games that they lose. In the second period, they're being outscored by 3, 29-32. They're outscoring their opponent by 5 in the goal games that they win, and they're outscored by 8 in the games that they lose. The third period also has an advantage to the opposition by 4. So 5 in the first, 3 in the second, 4. Even though we got the 3 goals the other night, we closed the gap a little bit to 4 overall. But the goal differential between the winning team and the losing team is pretty big. 21-8 when the Preds win, so 13 goal differential. 17 goal differential when the Preds lose, 9-26. 9-26. Right, so that is something. Overtime is tied 2-2, and shootouts 3-0. So, yeah, and then there's nothing really interesting down there. Taking out the empty nets in the third period. So let's take a look at that real quick. And here in Nashville, if you take out the empty nets, the Preds are even with the opponents, 25-25. The goal differential is still high. It's still 2-1 in both directions. The Preds, in the games that they win, are outscoring their opponents 16-8. In the games that they lose, 9-17. And then this would be handy here to have the number of games. Would be handy because I don't, off my hand, don't remember. Let's see, at home, 15 wins, and then I guess 14 losses. So 15 wins, 14 losses. So about the same number of games won, games lost, counting overtime losses as losses because it is a loss. So 2-1 advantage for the winning team in the second period and more than a goal a game. So there you go. That is the goal scoring. Oh, right. And we had next, stuff's all over the place. The difference in goal scoring based upon coming into the periods winning and losing. Of course, the Preds came into the second period and the third period losing the other night, but they did win the game. So let's go through these stats. Let's start out with the second period. When the Preds come into the second period winning, that's happened 6 times. It's even, 9 goals apiece. 9 goals apiece, and the Preds in those 6 games are 3-3. Coming into the second period tied has happened 14 times, which is the most, and the Preds are outscored by 2, 12-14. They are 9-3-2 in those games, though. So, so 14 times they come into the second period tied. They've been outscored by 2. But they've won most of the games, 9-3-2. Woohoo! Yeah, tie that first period. Tie it. 9 times they've come into the second period losing, and that's pretty close on goal scoring, 8-9 in those 9 games, and they're 3-6 in those 9 games. So they came into the second period losing 9 games, and they wound up winning 3 of them. So not too bad, 8-9 in those scenarios, 8-9 goal scoring in that scenario. In the third period, the Preds have come into the third period winning 6 times, but they've been outscored 5-8. 2 of those for the Preds are empty net goals, so they're actually being outscored in those 6 games 3-8 without pulling it. But they do have a winning record for 1-1. So 6 times they come into the third period winning, but they've managed to lose 2 of those, which is unfortunate, but that's what it is. At least it's a winning record for 1-1. Coming into the third period tied has happened 9 times. The Preds have outscored their opponents 9-5. Again, 2 of those being empty net goals, so 7-5. So still outscoring their opponents 7-5. And in those 9 times coming into the third period tied, 8-1. 8-1. Go Ties. Got to tie that second period, man. And then the scenario that's happened the most is, unfortunately, coming into the third period losing That's 14 times, so 6-9 for the other one, so 15 times not losing, 14 times losing. And they've been outscored by 5, 16-21, but 9 of those 21 are empty net goals. Preds getting 1, so they are outscoring their opponents 15-12 in those 14 games when they come into the third period losing, and then 9 empty nets for the other guys, 1 empty net for the Preds. In those 14 games, they did salvage 3 wins, 1 overtime loss, so 3, 10, and 1. So coming into the third period losing, no bueno. No bueno. Of course, the other night, came into the third period losing, and they won. Yeah. Hey, if you're going to score 3 goals, go. Go for it. Anyway, that's your goal scoring. Takes us to matchups. Right. And so with the matchups, we are playing the Minnesota Wild, and the Preds are home. So let's get to it. Minnesota Wild have played 27 road games, which puts them in the bottom half of the league in number of games played. 18 teams have played more, 6 have played the same, 7 have played below. They are, which is why we do like to look at things on a per-game basis. The Minnesota Wild are 5th in the league in the per game, 7th overall. Even though 18 teams have played more games than them, they're 7th just on the raw numbers. Per game, 5th, so 3.44 goals for on the road. The league average is 3.01. So in the first period, they are 6th in the league, getting a solid 1 goal a game, with 0.86 being the league average. The second period, they are 2nd in the league, 1.19 goals a game. The most is 1.2, so they're right there at almost having the most. 1.12 goals for in the second period. League average 0.99, so 0.2 there. 0.14 in the first, 0.2 in the second. They dropped back to an average, 14th in the league, 1.11 goals for in the third period. League average 1.07, so they are above league average in all 3 periods. Explains why they are one of the top teams in the league. What about goals against? 27th. 27th in being scored on. 2.63 goals against per game. League average 3.14. So that's what that. Holy crap! That's a whopping. What is that? That's 0.51. That's half a goal. Yeah, half a goal a game less than the league average. The minimum 2.39. Somebody's 2.39, but 2.63 for the Wild. 29th in the league in the first period, 0.63. League average 0.89. 23rd in the second with 1. League average is 1.1. And then 22nd in the third, 0.96. League average 1.07. For road teams, goal scoring increases from the first to the second, so the second to the third. For home teams increases from the first to the second, but then slightly decreases from the second to the third. In the NHL, 3% less goals in the third period than the second for home teams. Road teams score 8% more goals in the third than the second. They don't score nearly as many as, the increase it's 15% between the first and the second versus the home teams score 23% more goals in the second than the first. Home teams are scoring 35% of their goals in the second period, 34% in the third. Road teams are scoring 35.6% of their goals in the third period. Definitely the Wild buck those trends. I guess they score slightly. They're a road team, so they score slightly less goals in the third. They've scored 30 goals in the third versus 32 in the second, so they don't follow the league. Yeah, they're Yeah, their scoring is kind of like being a home team. So the Minnesota Wild, they're like a home team on the road. Anyway, so yeah, they're not giving up a lot of goals, and they're scoring a lot. So that explains, I think that if I remember right, last year going into the playoffs, the top 12 teams in the NHL all scored more goals than gave up. And I think the 4 teams that didn't have that advantage were eliminated in the first round. So definitely Minnesota is on pace for that. That's for sure. They've scored 93 and they've given up 71 on the road. For the Nashville Predators, a little bit more giving when they're at home. They have played 29 home games, which does put them in the top part of the league. Only 8 teams have played more, 2 have played the same, and 21 have played less. The Preds are 24th in the league in goal scoring per game, 2.86 goals a game. League average, 3.13 for home teams. First period, 25th, 0.76, and league average 0.82. They did get a goal the other night, so that kind of pulled them up. The second period, they're 22nd in the league with a 1 goal a game average. They did get 2 the other night. But 1 goal a game average, league average is 1.1 for home teams. And then they're 18th in the third period, 1.03 with a league average of 1.06. So they're getting close to league average in the third period, but definitely below in the first and second. In the goals against department, they are one of the more giving teams. They're 5th in the league, 3.28 goals against per game. League average for a home team, 3.01. The first period, they're 12th, 0.93, league average 0.86. The second period, they're 10th, 1.1, league average 0.99. And then the third, they're 9th, 1.17. with a league average of 1.07. So they definitely, like you'd have a goal on the way out of town. They're definitely very generous as a road team, but in the third period. But what is that? The third period, they've given up 35, 34. Yeah, about the same number, but played more home games. So there you go. So the Preds, not the best goal-scoring team at home, and one of the more generous for giving up goals. And the Wild like to score goals and don't like to give them up. So there you go. Anyway, so so we haven't played the Wild in Nashville, so I can't compare it to the previous game. We can do that next time because they are playing 4 times this year. So that is goal scoring. What about special teams? Special teams, I am glad you asked. So the Preds are at home. So let's look at the penalty kill first. The Wild are the third best penalty kill team on the road, 85.1%, 10 goals against on 67 opportunities. They've scored 1 shorthanded goal. Times shorthanded per games played, though, they are 31st. So not that many times are they on the power play or penalty kill. As far as goals against per games played, 29th. So it's close. Those two numbers, they're definitely down in the bottom, so it's kind of hard to argue with that. And they are third in the league as far as their percentages goes for road teams. For the Preds, they are the second best penalty kill team at home, 84.1%, 14 goals against on 88 opportunities. So they've given up 4 more goals on 21 more opportunities. They have scored two shorthanded goals, and times shorthanded per games played is now 6th. I think they had been 4th. But yeah, times shorthanded, they are one of the higher teams per game penalized. And goals against per games played, 25th. So yeah, 6th and 25th. So that's good. You got to like that differential there. As far as the power play goes, the Wild are 10th for road teams at 23.5%, 19 goals for on 81 opportunities. They have not given up a shorthanded goal. As far as power play per games played, they're up in the top of the league, 9th. Goals for per games played, 6th. So 9th in opportunities, but 6th in goal scoring. So that's definitely a good power play there. So they've got a good penalty kill. They've got a good power play. The Preds are 13th for home teams, 20.7%, 18 goals on 87 opportunities. So they scored one less goal on 6 more opportunities than Minnesota. They have given up 0 shorthanded goals, just like the Wild. Power play per games played, they are around league minimum, league average, 19th. Goals for per games played, 16th. So at least that goes in the right direction. So both power plays pretty decent, both penalty kills pretty decent. That looks like the Wild get power plays, don't get shorthanded, but the Preds get shorthanded and don't get power plays. So there you go. I hate to project where I think that's going to wind up because I'm really good at that. Looking at percentages and numbers for the periods, the Preds are 26% in the first period. They have scored 6 goals on 23 opportunities. They are only 14% in the second period, 4 on 29. So that's not very good. The third period, they are back up to 21%, 8 goals on 38 opportunities. Most of their power play opportunities have come in the third period. And most of the goals have come in the third period. For the opposition, fairly equal between the first and second as far as opportunities and percentages, actually. They've had 34 opportunities in the first and 35 in the second, and they have scored 4 goals in both cases, 12% and 11%, so the percentages are not very good. Their opportunities decrease in the third period, though, down to 25, but they've scored 6 goals on those 25 opportunities. So the Preds have given up more penalty kill, more power play goal, given up power play goals in the third period than the other 2 periods on less opportunities. They have scored more in the third period on more opportunities. So the opposition is at 24%. The Preds are at 21%. So overall at home, the power plays 22% in the third period. But definitely the Preds have the advantage in the first period, and it's fairly even in the second and third for the Preds and the opponents. So that is special teams, which take us to people to watch. And who do we have? We do not have an extensive list for Minnesota, which is going to make this really a lot easier. Some of these teams, I got 10 people listed, but only have 4. 4 people listed for Minnesota. Number 12, left wing Matt Boldy. He's first in goals with 14, second team assist with 14. That can't be right. How could he have 14, and then 34? All right, somebody's not on top of this one here. And I gotta check on my production staff here. What are we doing? Stats for Minnesota on the road. Matt Boldy, 14, and 28. Yes, Kaprizov has 34. Oh, you got it backwards. Matt Boldy, yeah. Okay. Yep, put him in the wrong quarter. It's Kaprizov and Boldy. I mean, those are your 2 guys. They're first or second in whatever they're doing. So number 12, left wing Matt Boldy, first with goals, second with assists, second in points with 28, first in shots with 74. Then number 97, left wing Kirill Kaprizov, second in goals with 11, first in assists with 23, first in points with 34. He's actually third in time on ice with 21:45, which is pretty high for a forward. So he's the forward on the ice the most. And then he's second in shots with 74. Next up is number 43, defenseman Quinn Hughes, who's second on the team, also in assists with 14. Tops on the team, tops in the league with 27:50 ice time, 27:50. He is tops in the NHL by over a minute, if I remember correctly. And then the next person of note is number 91, right wing, Vladimir Tarasenko. Hey, Tarasenko. Ooh, the Minnesota Wild. Yeah. I have a Tarasenko sweater jersey from when he played for St. Louis. We were at the Preds wine and auction, and I won the jersey. We were playing St. Louis the next night, and we lost. And so Prudence has never let me forget that it's my fault. It's all my fault. It's all my fault that the Preds lost to St. Louis. Somebody was going to walk away with that jersey. It can't blame me. But yes, number 91 right wing, Vladimir Tarasenko, third on the team in goals with 10, first on the team in shooting percentage, 22.7. So 10 goals on 44 shots. So 22.7, Vladimir Tarasenko. Second on the team in shooting percentage was 93, center Marco Rossi, but he doesn't play for them anymore. He was involved in that trade that brought Quinn Hughes from Vancouver. So Rossi is second on the team with a shooting percentage over 20%, but doesn't play for them, so who cares? So there you go, 12 Boldy, 97 Kaprizov, 43 Quinn Hughes, and 91 Tarasenko. Well, I mean, you don't have to worry about looking for Hughes. He's on the ice half the game. So most likely if you look up, he's there. So there you go. So Quinn Hughes, Tarasenko. As far as the Preds go, at home, number 91, center Steven Stamkos, first on the team with 17 goals. He's second on the team in shots with 71%, but that puts him first on the team in shooting percentage, 23.9%. 23.9%. He leads the team in goals with 17. Go Stamkos. I mean, geez. Shoot, buddy, shoot. Next up is number 9 left wing Philip Forsberg, second on the team, 14 goals, second in points with 26, first in shots with 94. Not very good shooting percentage, but hey, that's not his job, I guess. I don't know. Next up is Mr. Statistic, number 90, center Ryan O'Reilly, third in goals with 11, second in assists with 17, first on the team in points with 28, third on the team time on ice, 2026, and he's second on the team in shooting percentage, 21.6%. Oh, that's 11 goals on 51 shots. So that's also pretty good. Next up, number 77, right wing Luke Evangelista. The guy's got to get a 9 in his number somewhere. This is just, I mean, everybody else for the Preds have a 9 in the number that you get to talk about, and he just ruins that whole metric. Numbers, I guess the exception to prove the rule. Number 77, right wing Luke Evangelista, first on the team in assists with 18, third in points with 22, and then finally, number 59, defenseman, captain Roman Josi. Third on the team in assists with 16. Tops in ice time, 23:42. All right. So that's your people. What about momentum? Momentum. Minnesota on the road is 16-8-3. They have a 4-game winning streak. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10. The only thing I can say about that is that looking back at their record, twice in the season, they have 7-game winning streaks. But everything else is like 1 or 2. So 1 or 2, they have not had a 3-game win streak. They have not had a 4-game win streak, or finished, 3 or 4, 3, 4, 5, or 6, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Those aren't in their mantra. 2 7-game winning streaks. So let's give them one. I mean, you just can't stick with 7-game winning streaks all season long. That's no variety. So hopefully we get to end that momentum tonight. But yes, definitely they have a lot of momentum. They were 1-0 in their last road trip. And against the Central Division, they are 8-4-2. Nashville at home is 15-12-2. They are on a 2-game winning streak. All right, they're 5-3-2 in their last 10. They're 1-0 on this home stand, and they were 1-2-0 in the last one against the Central, 8-9-2. So there you go. All right. So the Minnesota Wild, the Preds beat them. The Preds, they're 1-1. The Preds can beat the Wild. They just need to do it. And they'll do it tonight at Bridgestone Arena at 7 o'clock. Thanks for listening. I'm Preston Proctor, and you've been listening to Predators Proclivity.